Now, China's clean energy exports are making a major dent in global carbon emissions. That's according to a new study by a Finland-based environmental think tank. The Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air says that last year alone, exports of solar panels, batteries, electric vehicles and wind turbines will cut CO2 emissions outside China by 1% during their lifetime. That's around 4 billion tonnes. Planned Chinese power plants and other green energy projects overseas could cut global emissions by a further 350 million tonnes per year, roughly equal to Australia's annual output. China's clean energy footprint now covers nearly the entire world, with exports to almost all UN member states, plus manufacturing and project investments in dozens of countries. However, the report notes that manufacturing these products generated around 110 million tonnes of CO2 in China last year, but says those emissions can be offset in less than a year once the products are in use. Well, Lauri Myllyvirta is the lead analyst at the Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air, which produced that report, and I'm delighted to say he joins us now. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. So your analysis shows that China's 2024 clean energy exports could cut overseas CO2 by 220 million tonnes in just 1 year. It sounds impressive. Just how big a climate impact is that?
The world's total emissions are very large, obviously, so cutting 1% of them off or avoiding 1% is significant. That's equal almost to the total emissions of Spain. On the other hand, we do need to cut global emissions by several percent per year, and we need to cover all of the growth in global energy demand. So there's still a lot of room for clean energy to expand, including for China's exports of these products to expand.
And this 1% overseas CO2 cut happens within just 1 year of operation. What makes the payback period so fast compared to other decarbonisation measures?
Solar panels have gotten a lot thinner, more efficient, so they need a lot less material input to produce the same power generation than they used to, let's say, a decade ago. So because of that, the carbon footprint has gotten a lot smaller. Of course, China's power generation has also gotten cleaner compared with where it was 10 years ago. So both of those things have helped reduce the footprint.
And the footprint itself with clean tech, Chinese clean tech, is huge, isn't it? Reaching 191 countries last year. Which regions are seeing the biggest emissions cuts, and how is that happening?
The biggest importers of China's clean energy technology are South Asia, the Middle East and North Africa region, and Europe. When we look at the percentage impact, it's the largest in the Middle East and in sub-Saharan Africa, which obviously still has a smaller energy system than the other regions that I mentioned, but which is growing it fast and installing a lot of new capacity. And it's always, of course, good news that at least many countries in that region seem to be moving directly into clean power generation rather than going for a fossil fuel-based system first and then trying to transition later.
And how would you say that trade tensions risk slowing the emissions cuts?
The incredible reduction in costs of producing solar panels, EV batteries, and so on in China has resulted in a backlash in a lot of countries. Some of that is justified. Even the Chinese government itself recognizes that there is unhealthy price competition at the moment in China. But then there are tariff measures that are clearly just designed to block clean energy technology from reaching willing buyers. And that's, of course, creating a lot of uncertainty and raising costs for the clean energy industry. Especially if there's, let's say, the U.S. has put on major tariffs and at the same time cut some of the measures that were meant to create alternative supply chains within the U.S. So clearly, that's not going to be helpful at all for the clean energy transition.
Well, it's a fascinating report. Thank you so much for talking us through it. Lauri Myllyvirta, lead analyst at the Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air.